Today we're looking at our new click-on cladding product, which is designed to be a Rainscreen. And in this video specifically, we're going to explore the build out that goes into Rainscreen design, and we're going to talk about why getting your build out is hypercritical to ensuring long-term project success. So there are 3 items that we think as architects and designers you need to consider from the earlier stages of conceptualization to ensure that long-term project success. So the first one is fire compliance, the second one is leaky building syndrome, and the third one is thermal bridging, or what's also commonly referred to as the effects of thermal transfer. So all 3 of these issues are critical issues faced on construction sites, not just here in Australia, but internationally as well. Now, this particular build-out example is just one of many different build-outs that you could have on a construction site, but this one in particular has a 90mm stud cavity that acts as the frame. Then there's insulation bats that are fitted between each of those cavities. As mentioned, there are a number of different factors that you need to consider when designing your facade build-out. The first, and something that's actually causing a bit of stir across many construction sites in Australia and plenty of completed projects already, is fire compliance. The level of fire compliance that you need to adhere to is going to be dependent on a number of factors. And so these are largely determined by the size of the building, the type of the building, what that building is going to be used for. But when it comes to our aluminium click-on cladding product, it's designed to be a Group 1, 100% fire compliant solution. So that means no matter what the building type is, no matter what it's been used for, when you specify and detail a click-on cladding product from Sculptform, it's going to achieve the highest levels of fire compliance. The next biggest consideration is a huge issue known within the construction sector as leaky building syndrome. And leaky building syndrome, it can be a silent killer. Leaky building syndrome means when your facade build out or building envelope isn't 100% weather tight. So in order to understand that in a little bit more detail, you need to truly appreciate how a Rainscreen facade works. So at a really base level, the aluminium click-on cladding product at the front just here is designed to protect the facade from the majority of external weather, but it's not going to be able to protect it from all the weather. There's still going to be a small amount of water or moisture that's going to get in behind the cavity, and it's going to sit in there and it's going to rest in there. And what can happen is, if this isn't weather tight behind there, that water can permeate through to areas of the facade that aren't necessarily set up to handle that weather. And when that happens, the effects of that can go undetermined for a significantly long amount of time. And when they come to fruition and you finally find out about them, the effects are already too late. It's catastrophic, not just aesthetically, but structurally as well. And so what we've done in this build out example is we've partnered with a company called ProClimber. So what you're seeing here, this blue material, it's a weather resistive barrier. So what that does is any water or moisture that gets through, this flexible membrane is really gonna act as another layer of protection, ensuring that that water doesn't penetrate through to the facade itself. The third and other major consideration that we want to talk about are the effects of thermal transfer. So thermal transfer refers to when the external temperature outside penetrates through the componentry of the build out and really gets through to the other side of that facade. Now, unfortunately, and it might be due to time, it might be due to cost, the effects of thermal bridging really aren't considered. And we think here at Sculptform, we're all about best practice build out design. So what we've done today in this prototype is we've worked with a company called DC Tech, who provided us with these strips. These strips are referred to as thermal break strips. And what they do is they're protecting this metal stud cavity from the external temperature, and they're really delaying the effects of the thermal transfer or the temperature permeating through the metal stud cavity and getting to the facade behind. And consequently, that's improving what you might typically have heard about before, which is the R value of the project. Now, the requirements of each project are different. The type, size, and category of the building, as well as the different levels of weather that building is exposed to, or perhaps even the standard of building that you're trying to adhere to, all play an integral role in determining kind of the build out that you need to specify or what you need to work to and the componentry that you need to include. Here at Sculptform, we're all about best practice design. And while our product specifically is a Rainscreen solution, so it's just the face of the build out, and there's a barrage of different stakeholders that you need to bring together to design a build out, we have partnered with a few different organizations and made some recommendations about what we consider to be best practice facade build out designs, and we've put those on our website. So we encourage you to go on there and check those out. For anyone else who has any questions or would like to get in contact, please don't hesitate to reach out.